Okay, hi everyone. First of all, if we can just start off with the team news.
Team news. Since last game against Birmingham, everyone who was available for that game is also available for this game. Nothing else to report.
Okay, talk us through how crucial is this game in terms of your bid for automatic promotion this season?
I think it's just as crucial as the last four, where we only managed to draw. So, of course, we will do everything we can to come back on winning ways. I think it's very important to have that wider view on things, and the performance has been more than good enough to get at least 2 wins out of 4. Closer to say 3. And on a heavy day with a little bit wind in your back, it could also have been 4. So we are searching for that margin to change it, and I think mainly it is actually for me to be a tiny bit more dangerous and score a few more goals, which is easier said than done. Even Bayern Munich played a fantastic game in Paris Saint-Germain and had 31 shots in a game, and they managed only to score 2 goals. So it's not only Brentford, it's also out in the big world that sometimes team can struggle to score. But it's my job to find a good solution and try to see if we can twist it to make us a bit more dangerous. So we are in a, how can you say, when you don't get the point, you're easily how can you say, get a little bit away from what's actually happening, and we're actually performing relatively well. Do we want to perform top? Yes, and that's what we are searching for to do. Because if you come back on top performing ways, the point will come.
I wanted to touch on the abuse that Ivan Toney had received, the racist abuse, just to get your reaction on that, really.
Yeah. I think in general, of course, me personally, us as a club, we are very much against any kind of abuse. I think actually this modern world, I think our young people, my kids, we are living in a much more tolerant world. When I get told off or by my kids in terms of diversity or different kind of sexuality, and we are really, I think the world is really in a good place. I think the problem compared to 20 to 30 years ago is that one voice is going to make a hell of a noise out there because he or her put one tweet or whatever it is out online. So it's one person that get too much attention. Of course, it should never happen. But the problem is, out there in the world, there are always crazy people, and you can't stop them. So I think we have a big responsibility not to blow it up. The media, the social media companies have a big responsibility to close it down quick, and I think there should be big penalties and big punishment for doing any online abuse. And then I think another thing is that we need to educate each other to make sure that, especially in football, there are so much emotional involved, that you have a proper tone. It's okay to criticize, but have a proper tone. Never get personal. I think that's very important.
Sorry, don't mean to interrupt. What do you make of these clubs? Quite a few have come out saying they're going to do a social media blackout. Is that something that you would consider for a week or so?
I think it's, I really like what Swansea, Birmingham, and I think it was Rangers as well, who is taking that initiative. I think it's good to take initiative and to do something about it. So I appreciate that, and I acknowledge that. We as a club really also are thinking about what to do extra. So we have many discussions internally in the club, and John Barney, our CEO, was at a board meeting yesterday, or attending a board meeting with the EFL to find out what is the common stand for the EFL. Should it be how can you say, a demand from EFL to do something, or should we find a common ground where we can maybe all of us, or I don't know, but we're definitely on it to see what to do.
Great, thanks so much. I'll let someone else ask some questions. Thank you. Hope it all
Thank-
goes well.
You're welcome, thank you.
Hi Thomas, how are you?
I'm very well, hi Ian, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad. The online abuse that Ivan Toney has been getting and other players too. First of all, do you think players should be on social media at this time?
I think it's like, you know, with any other modern era technology that, you know, where there's money involved, I think we can't shut down the three big companies, Twitter, Facebook and whatever, Instagram and so on. I think it's Facebook, that's the same, isn't it? But anyway, we can't shut down those.
You're not on social media.
No,
right?
I'm too
Do you
old.
think when a I'd love to see you on social media, but I know you're not. But do you think players should actually, when they join clubs, say, right, for the duration of the period I'm going to play football, I'm not going to be on social media?
If you ask me, but I think it's like there's two things in it. I think there's a little bit of addiction, you know, in terms of likes or whatever, you're popular, and in that bracket also you are creating your own profile, so you're your own company these days. So there's something in that. Then there's another part where I actually think if you use it wise, I think you can get out to a lot of people with good messages and hopefully help that way around. And then of course there's so many news and whatever fun videos or you use in these social media as well. So I understand why it's difficult. I can just say personally, I don't miss it. You know, I don't know what it is, so I don't miss it. So it's easier for me to avoid it. Of course, my children are on social media. My wife is on Facebook. So of course, sometimes with the Facebook thing, I can think, oh, it actually would be nice just to see a little bit what are my, you know, old friends and what are they doing, and you know. So I understand that perspective of it. But the other bit where you need to, how can you say, promote yourself, I don't get it. I get it, but I don't get it. And I don't think you can make anything too idiot to answer your question. I don't think you can close it down. My biggest thing is that I'm thinking, should we say no phones at the training ground? No, it's not going to work. Because, you know, we're too far, you know. But there could be specific rooms. We have a gym marquee where when they walk into that, they leave their phone. And then they play tech ball, and they play basketball, and they play two-touch, and they do their gym work. And it's a fantastic time. And they interact with each other. So I love that. But because even I'm on my phone and looking at that and checking news sometimes, and I hate it because we can't interact with each other. But the big thing I'm thinking about is after a game, I'm really thinking, you know what? I think I need to do it a phone-free zone after the game, because they should cry together, or they should laugh together, or they should celebrate, or they should dance, or they should shower, or they should whatever. It's so intense after a game, and that's what they should do together. That's the only room I'd like to create. But I think it's very difficult, and I think it's very, very difficult what we do with it.
Last one is before I ask you some football questions. Have you ever been abused in terms of the fact that do you worry your kids are going to go on social media and see someone writing something horrible about you, or your wife will go on Facebook and see someone writing something horrible about you?
You know, the good thing is that my wife is not interested in football, so she's not checking any news. My two lovely daughters are not interested in football, so they're not seeing anything. So that's very good, I'm very happy for that. My son is very interested in football, and of course he's checking these sites. And of course he can see when his dad, and we won 3 games, you know, is king of the town and I'm fantastic. And then after we lose 3 games, you can see I'm a disaster. The good things, he is actually well raised because he got a good mom. So he knows there's actually probably something in between, that I'm actually a pretty good coach. Maybe not the best, maybe not the worst. And I think it's that balance we need to have in life.
9 points behind Watford, with a game in hand and a game against Watford to come. Can you still go up automatically?
We will fight to the end to get to the highest possible position. No doubt about that. I think it's very, how can you say, obvious that we need to win a game if we want to get in a better position. And the last 4 have been draws, which, you know, it's never that good when it's good, and it's never that bad when it's bad. Looking at those performances, I said it earlier to you, I think it should at least be 2 or 3, and on a happy day 4. So the performance has been, you know, up there or thereabout, but of course it's not top. And for me, we are defending very well. We're giving almost nothing away in the games. So it's the offensive part of it that we are working very hard on in terms of relations. Try to find that edge that can give us more chances and by that hopefully more goals. And then wins and then climb.
The final one, how do you fix the being unlucky maybe not to turn the draws into wins?
It's a good question. I think it's one of those where, you know, there's a lot about training, there's a lot about confidence, there's a lot about, you know, get that little bit of momentum that you can build on, and then you suddenly just take that touch forward. You actually look up and play behind. You know, you believe a little bit more in 1v1 action, you believe a little bit more in your finish. I think that's it's a part of it, all of it.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you for your time as usual.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
Hi Thomas.
Hi Phil.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm alright, thank you. I'm alright, thank you very much. Quick question then about the run into the season. Whether there's 3 extra games after the regular 46, or whether you can do it in 46. Is it just about winning the next game, then winning the next game, then winning the next game?
Honestly, it is like that, and keep every other noise out of my head, the staff's head, the players' head. It's definitely easier said than done. Of course, I don't want to answer the question about Watford in the second last game. I forgot the English word for it. I like to say that. I can never say it.
Penultimate.
Penultimate. Thank you. So of course I know that, and I know we're 9 points behind them, and I know we have a game in hand. But you know, there's no reason to look ahead to that game, because then maybe I miss the focus to maybe twist that margin that could give us the win against Preston tomorrow. That is much more important. And it's the same with the players. Don't look too far ahead. Stay in the moment, train well, perform well, and then we take from there.
Some of the noise that goes on maybe looks at the fact, as you say, there's been no wins in 3 or 4 games. But in comparison to last season, you can still get, 90 plus points, are sitting 3rd in the table, have scored so many more goals than many of these teams. I mean, there's a lot of positives from this season going into this final sprint.
It's because we all forget it, including myself sometimes. And also, you know, if you do well, expectation rise. And when expectation rise, it's very rare that these expectations are going to be either fulfilled, or, you know, if you then drop your level a tiny bit, then your expectations are up here, which is good because we've done something good. But I think, you know, it's so important. It's not that we are not ambitious or passionate or so extremely determined to try to win the next game or make a miracle, which it would be if Brentford, you know, can go up. We are, you know, mid-table budget club. We sold the potentially 2 best players, offensive players in the league last year. We broke the transfer record twice from the championship and out. Little Brentford. I don't know these stats, so that's me. I know that from the transfer record, I know that. But we have had 4 key players out for a very big amount of the season. And if I compare with the 3 or 4 teams we compete with, I don't know it exactly, but I have a strong feeling and knowledge they haven't been that unlucky. And you need your strongest 11 to really compete. And even then, we have more points than last year. So I think we are doing an unbelievable job.
Preston have already shown that they are no respecters of where teams are in the league. They've taken points off the likes of Swansea and Norwich in recent times as well. So this is a tough game.
It's an extremely tough game, and the interim manager Frankie has done a good job. I would say. I watched the last 2 games. It looked like a different side compared to early in the season. That has nothing to do with Alex and his job, because he's done I think fantastic job over almost 4 years. But we always struggled a bit with Preston historically. As a team and a club, but I've been here the last 4 years. It's not many games we have won against them. Last year we struggled away and we won at home. This season we had a very good first half, and then we had a nightmare of a second half. So I know everything about what kind of task that is ahead of us, and we're very aware of that. And we need to be on our absolute max to get 3 points, but of course we believe we can.
And just finally, you talk about the difficulties. This year in particular has been a very interesting year. The 3 teams that were relegated, the 3 teams that got parachute payments as a consequence, are either currently top 2 or on the fringes of top 6. It's been a year where maybe just that extra little bit of Premier League experience, that extra little bit of funding has been more useful this year because of the strange circumstances that we've been in, maybe, Thomas?
Yeah, maybe it's actually, historically the last, I don't know how many years, but at least I think 5 years, we have never seen 3 teams in top 7, if you say that, and definitely not 2 of them in top 2. So either those clubs have been doing something extremely well, or they just have some of the fine margin, or they just had that extra quality, as you said. I think one club definitely to praise is Norwich. Consistent in everything they do. I will compare them, or I will compare Brentford a little bit with Norwich, not them with us, because they have made it to the Premier League several times, and they're calm in their strategy. They are transparent. There's alignment from the top to the bottom. They kept the head coach, kept the team. Didn't sell, I think, 1 player, but in a position where they were fine. So they are doing the top job. The 2 other clubs have, sacked the managers throughout this season. So rightly or wrongly, I don't know. I'm not going into detail with that. So, but anyway, they have done well, better compared to some of the other years.